Welcome. We often think that high intelligence is like a golden ticket, a key that just unlocks an easier, more successful life. But if you look at the psychology behind it, you find a completely different story. That a really powerful mind, one that almost never rests, often comes with its own unique and pretty heavy set of challenges. So to really get a handle on this, we're going to dive into 6 key areas. Each one sheds some light on the complex and often really misunderstood reality of what it's like to live with a highly analytical mind. So the big question is a powerful mind actually a heavy burden? It's easy to assume it just simplifies everything. You solve problems faster, success comes easily, but psychology shows us a different picture. A mind that sees the world in all these unique layers often carries a significant, invisible weight. First things first, we have to move beyond these simplistic ideas like IQ scores. Even Stephen Hawking said that intelligence isn't just a single number. It's way more complex, a multidimensional thing that literally shapes a person's entire experience of the world. And a lot of these struggles really come down to this one core trait. It's not just about being smart, it's about having a real hunger for deep, effortful thinking. The brain just isn't satisfied with surface-level stuff. It's always on the hunt for puzzles, new ideas, and complex concepts to chew on. And this fundamental need for depth, well, it creates a lot of friction in day-to-day life. And it starts with one of the biggest challenges of all, just trying to navigate the world of everyday conversation. Think about it. Most people connect through small talk, the weather, the traffic, the neighbor's weird new lawn flamingo. But for someone with a high need for cognition, this can feel completely exhausting. Their mind is craving conversations about big ideas, abstract puzzles, and the why behind everything. It creates this huge, frustrating gap between their inner world and what most social interactions look like. This gap also shows up in how they speak. They often have what psychologists call linguistic precision. To them, words aren't just noise, they're very specific tools. Every sentence can feel like a calculated chess move, designed to express a complex thought with perfect clarity, so there's absolutely no room for misinterpretation. But the downside of being so precise is something called the curse of knowledge. Basically, you know so much and you see all these connections that keeping it simple feels almost impossible. Someone might ask you for directions and you end up giving them a mini TED Talk with historical context and 3 alternate routes. You think you're being thorough, but the other person is usually just completely overwhelmed. A lot of these communication challenges are actually rooted in a scientifically observed paradox, this kind of trade-off between different types of intelligence. You know that classic movie trope of the awkward nerd? Well, it turns out it's not just a stereotype. There's actually research to back it up. A 2015 study by Davidson found that high cognitive intelligence, or IQ, often correlates with a lower emotional intelligence quotient, or EQ. And EQ is what helps us with social skills, building relationships, and, just reading the room. And this social awkwardness often comes from a cognitive style called divergent thinking. The brain is just constantly exploring all these unusual connections and multiple solutions at once. This makes someone brilliant when it comes to ideas, but it can make social cues like timing, tone, and eye contact kind of glitch. Their mind is just too busy analyzing the conversation to simply be present in it. So, as a result, many intelligent people really aren't interested in what you might call fast food friendships, those quick surface-level connections. They'd much rather have fewer but deeper bonds. They learn pretty quickly that solitude isn't about avoiding people. It's essential maintenance. It's the fuel they need to recharge a mind that's constantly processing so much. And this constant mental activity, it's not just a social thing. It seeps into every single aspect of life, creating this state of cognitive overdrive, where the mind's engine just never shuts off. And that leads to something psychologists call analysis paralysis. Being able to see all the pros, cons, and different angles for any situation is a gift, right? But it can also totally clog up your ability to act. A simple choice like which pair of shoes to buy can turn into this exhausting marathon of research and comparison, and you end up completely paralyzed, never making a decision at all. So what does this feel like? Well, it's like your mind is constantly running mental simulations of what might happen. It's replaying past conversations over and over, analyzing every single word. And if it's not busy, it can wander off into this black hole of abstract thought. This kind of mind craves constant stimulation. It needs puzzles or new information, even if it means staying up all night. Now, on top of all these internal patterns,
There are these immense pressures that come from the outside world and from within yourself. It's kind of like that Uncle Ben principle from Spider-Man. If you're seen as the smart one, everyone, including you, just expects you to succeed. This pressure often breeds a really toxic kind of perfectionism. It's called maladaptive perfectionism, and it's not a healthy drive for excellence. It's this unhealthy belief that anything short of absolute perfection is a total failure. You end up holding yourself to these impossibly high standards and cataloging every tiny flaw like it's evidence in a trial. You become your own harshest critic.
And what this does is create this feeling that you're in a race that has no finish line. Every time you achieve something, it doesn't bring relief or satisfaction. Nope. It just raises the bar for the next challenge, resetting the pressure to an even higher level. It's exhausting. And that brings us to our last point. High intelligence often goes hand in hand with a heightened sensitivity to the world, an awareness of patterns, flaws, and injustices that a lot of other people might miss. And being this aware carries a pretty significant emotional cost. One of the heaviest burdens is something called emotional contagion. Because you're often highly empathetic and keenly aware of other people's hidden struggles and motives, you can end up absorbing their pain and emotions without even realizing it. You're left carrying this heavy emotional weight that wasn't even yours to begin with. This heightened awareness also makes it incredibly difficult to just enjoy the now. The mind is always in this state of future-oriented thinking, either jumping ahead to calculate the next step or looping back to analyze the past. It makes the present moment feel really slippery, almost like you're living in two timelines at once, the one that's already happened and the one that hasn't even begun. So if any of this sounds familiar, it's so important to remember that these struggles are not personal feelings. They're just inherent features of a mind that's wired to see the world in layers that others can't. It's not a curse, it's a rare gift. It just requires a different approach, one that's built on balance, boundaries, and a whole lot of self-compassion. If you found some resonance in these layers of the mind, we'd love for you to continue this journey of self-discovery with us. Go ahead and subscribe to PsypherMind for more deep dives into the psychology of the extraordinary.